Hi, everyone. This is Jeff Clark of thegoldadvisor.com, and we have a special Pater podcast for you today. We are introducing Jeff Valks, our senior analyst. Some of you have probably heard some of his or read some of his writing on the website. We wanted to formally introduce him here because he is going to be doing some podcasts of his own here. Pretty exciting. So, Jeff Valks, who goes by JV, by the way, we can't have two Jeffs here, right? So, JV, thanks for joining me on this video.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm super pumped to be here. This is exciting.
Yeah, very much so. And we'll start off with some exciting news of your own. You actually just got engaged recently, right? So tell us real briefly about that and your beautiful bride-to-be.
I did. I took the plunge. I said I would never do it, and now I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
she said yes. That's the most important part. I don't want to wax too poetic about the bride to be because she'll be red faced, but I will tell you, if you walk into a jewelry store and ask what their return policy is, they might be like flummoxed by that question because apparently I was the first one to ever ask.
Right. Very good.
Always be
Gotcha.
prudent.
Yeah, right. Okay, for those of you that don't know, JV actually has a finance background. He was director of content for dividend.com. He worked at etfdb.com, traderhq.com. He has a pretty substantial financial background here. So, Jeff, just tell us briefly what got you involved in finance? What drew you to it?
Does failing OAC economics count? Sorry, in Ontario, we have OAC or had, which was grade 13 before university. It's like a university prep course. I'm sorry, I'm ranting about Canadian school. But our senior economics class, I was really interested in this stuff, but for whatever reason, I just told myself I couldn't learn it, and I always kind of kicked myself for it. And then during the recession, you know, everybody's broke. I couldn't find a job to save my life, and I'm watching the ticker on the news channel and all these stocks are going up, going up, going up. And I'm like, how in a time when we're recessing, how is it that
Yeah.
the market's going up? So then as you know, I wanted to figure this out. And that was, back 2009, 2010. And it just sort of snowballed one thing after the other.
Yeah, but you actually created your own content, your own course on money management, and you're actually teaching it right now at a local college.
Yeah. So I follow they do a newsletter, a big nice magazine kind of deal once a month. And so the director of training for all apprentices basically wrote a letter saying, I don't understand how a fourth and fifth year apprentice can come to me, look me straight in the eyes, and say with a straight face they can't afford to go to trade school when I know that they're making 1,100, 1,200 bucks a week after tax. And so a
Yeah.
light bulb went off because I know they were looking for teachers and this and that. So I said, I just kind of sent an email and said, if I put together a finance program, can I teach it? And they said, well, what would you put in it? So I wrote kind of a list of what I think everybody should know about money, not just apprentices, not just youngsters, everybody. And it just so happened that that was a Monday I submitted that curriculum. And on Wednesday, they had a board meeting and the class was approved 4 days after I'd submitted my curriculum in. So I've been teaching that class
Wow.
now for 6 years. I was walking the dog this morning and my neighbor was asking me about it. And I said, 6 years later, I still have guys that I taught, 5, 6 years ago. They'll send me a note once in a while and be like, you know what? You really changed my life. My wife and I are so much better off than we were before I took the class. So it's been really deeply rewarding, but it's also something that I love to do and teach.
Yeah, wow, that's great. That's got to be very rewarding. I didn't even know that. That's very good. And JV, you've actually had some success of your own investing. You're not just teaching it. You invested in Tesla and Facebook and some of the others, and you made some money on those stocks, right?
I did, not to brag. Some, as Ty Cobb would say, or I guess it's not even Ty Cobb. I always use baseball references in my class. I just try to swing for doubles and singles. Once in a while, the ball goes over the wall.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of Ty Cobb, it's on JV's bio on the website if you want to check it out. But he mentions Ty Cobb mixed sports with investing, and he was very successful. And one of them was actually a copper mine that he invested in and did very well, right, JV?
Yeah, it was his first investment. He was looking at his World Series ring, World War One was going on. America hadn't yet joined the war. And he sort of thought, you know what, if metal is being consumed at a high volume, on the field of battle, prices have got to go up sooner or later. So he purchased a copper mine in Arizona, or shares in a copper mine in Arizona. The stock went to the moon, and that was his first sort of taste of investing success. But as a brief aside, Ty had decided that he knew he wasn't going to play sports forever and needed to find a way to protect his assets and still grow without having any real skills. And so
Uh,
investing was his route. His if his shares in Coca-Cola were adjusted for inflation and set to drip for today, they would, just as Coca-Cola shares, would be worth over 2 billion.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's some long-term investing for you, though. But yeah, well,
Sugar water.
uh, JV, give us a quick, is there any message that you find yourself repeating to your students that you tell them repeatedly? Or is there a big mistake that you've seen most investors make? What's a sort of a takeaway message from uh, your career as an instructor in finance?
The boiled down distilled version would be burn less than you earn. And there's a longer quote from Warren Buffett that says, "Do not save what is left after spending, but rather spend what is left after saving." It's just easier to say burn
Very
less than
good.
you earn. And the whole concept is, people will tell me, because I'm young, I have a baby face, oh, they're lucky they'll say, "You're lucky you have money to invest." And it's like, it's not luck. It means scrimping and saving over here so I can throw some money over here. It gets off camera over
Yeah,
here to have, a nest egg to sort of put to work out there in the market. So
yeah.
that's you'll hear me repeat that 1,000 times in my classes.
That's great. I think some junior minors could learn that lesson as well, burn less than you earn. So
Yes,
or
sir.
burn less than they raise, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a good rhyme that would go with it, like something drill, something spend, but the no rhyme is coming to me. So this is a great way to fizzle out and wrap us up.
We'll work on that, right? Yeah.
I'll
So
think of something.
JV is yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I'll think of something. You'll see it in a newsletter someday.
That's right. I bet we will. That's great. So JV, thanks for joining me. He's got an interview already set up with another company next week. I'm excited to see it. It's with a company that we're going to leave nameless for now. You got to tune in next week to the Pater podcast and see it. It's of a CFO. You think, wow, CFO, that's a pretty boring position. Actually, JV and I were at lunch with this company at PDAC last year. We were so fascinated by this lady's story. Yes, it's women in mining that we're going to talk about. So, ladies, tune in. But it was such a fascinating story. We said, Jake and I looked at each other and like, she's got to be our first guest on the Pater podcast. So, he'll be doing that next week and it'll be out shortly thereafter. So, you can catch JV at thegoldadvisor.com. He's filling in more and more for me there. It's exciting, it's fun. We're having a good time, and we think, as always, we're in the right place, the right time with the right asset. So, JV, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you all on the next episode of Payer Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.